Thanks, Natalie, again for sharing your time with us and everything that InnovationMap is doing in covering and promoting and encouraging Houston's innovation ecosystem. So last time we were addressing kind of a broad view of what innovation is. And now I want to ask you some questions that I think are going to generate some good, solid advice for companies that are operating in that sector. My first question is that what are some of the communication obstacles that you are observing companies in the innovation ecosystem wrestling with?
I think it's interesting because I do, I've been a business journalist more generally for about 7 years. And so switching to focus on startups, I think I realized, a lot of startups really don't know what is news within what they're doing. And so it's been sometimes challenging to realize, like, startups have so much news. I mean, constantly they're growing, they're raising money, they have new products, new breakthrough technologies, but they're heads down, cranking out, doing the work like constantly. And so they don't think about all of these opportunities for news stories and pitching opportunities for media outlets, and especially with what InnovationMap does, where I cover these startups so closely, there's a lot of missed opportunities, and it always makes me so crazy when I hear, oh yeah, like 6 months ago we closed this funding round. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? So making sure that they, if they know when to come to me and tell me what they're doing has been sometimes challenging, and it's just because it's no founders. It's very rarely a founder's like background is in media or anything or communications. So and like I said, they're heads down trying to do the work, which I super appreciate too, rather than just talking about all the things they're gonna do. They're actually doing it. And so just communicating with me is sometimes hard.
So, okay, so here's a perfect lead in then. If you had those founders, if you had leaders of those companies in a room, what would you advise them? What kind of information would you share with them to help them be a little bit more enlightened as to what you're interested in and how important their story is to really the whole community?
Yeah, I think making that media plan, the communications plan, and knowing, like, sitting down and really like deciding what's going to be news. So I would really tell them to put some time and thought into their communication strategy. There's so many options, with going in-house or hiring a firm, or even just a freelancer to help with your communications. And those relationships need to be relationships, right? Like, they need to be more than just a one-off, hey, I'm going to do a really big push for our launch and then nothing else after. So put some thought into your like long-term 5-10-year plan for when to bring in the media, when to have that opportunity, and then just stay in touch. When you reach a milestone and you think media is a good option for you, reach out and follow up. Don't feel like, you can't pitch yourself to a media organization. Even if it's just you, the founder. I've had many emails, start with the founder, him or herself, reaching out and saying, hey, we're doing this really cool thing. I think it might be a story. And, usually it is, because I think, there's so much going on. And if you feel like you're doing something impactful enough and have enough of a platform and, technology to generate business, then I think that's newsworthy for sure.
I think that one of the things that we've seen in doing our own research into what are those communications challenges of companies in the ecosystem is partly they're not necessarily recognizing that there are multiple audiences that are interested in their story, and each of those audiences speak a little different language. So information, for instance, that they would share with an investor is going to be different than information that you might see as, a leading angle of what makes them unique. And then their employees are going to have a little different. So I think that also there's a little education to be done there too, in terms of speaking your different audiences' language. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. And like, that's why if you're a Houston startup, that is my bread and butter. Like that's what I'm looking for. And so knowing that, and if something like InnovationMap exists, and I'm here and you can pitch to me and I can write about you or have one of my writers write about you, that's for sure step one. And then yeah, know what is news, which if you spend any amount of time looking at the stories I write and that go up on InnovationMap, I feel like you're going to be like, oh wait, well we did that, or we have that news item too, and I should email her. So I think it's as easy as that.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of, media relations 101 is do a little homework and get to know what you're interested in, what InnovationMap has run to give you a sense of, what you've got to contribute to it. So that's always a good tip, regardless of what market segment you're in. Well, now, I really want to thank you for answering a few questions. I feel like I could hold you hostage for hours and talk to you. And we're just really grateful for what you and InnovationMap are doing for this important segment of Houston's future.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was nice to be on the other side of the table. And yeah, I think there's so many other people that would have, different answers and different insights into the ecosystem. But I kind of feel like I've boiled everything down into a summary of everybody that I've talked to over the years. So there's at least that I can provide.
You have that book to write.
Yeah, it'd be a very long book.
Thanks so much, Natalie. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.